This video is going to take you through the key features of the cardioid and how to do the graphs. Now this chart up here is just to show you how to label the points. Really, once you get the graph, I feel like it's easier to do visually from the graph. Notice if you're working with a cosine graph, the positive one's going to be a little more horizontal and the negative will be both are going to be horizontal. The positive is going to be on the positive side of the horizontal axis. The negative is going to be on the negative side of the horizontal axis. For the sine graph, the positive one's going to be on the positive side of the y-axis, and the negative will be on the negative of the y-axis. Will be the larger point. Now the name cardioid is that name because it's a heart-shaped type graph. It's not quite your Valentine's Day heart, but it is similar looking to the actual heart shape. If you were to compare that. So first thing, all of them have a critical point of 0, 0. That's something you can put across the board here. That gives it that indentation to make it look like the heart. Now for your A value, in this case it's going to be A pi over 2, and you can either put negative pi over 2 or 3 pi over 2. I'm going to put negative pi over 2. It really doesn't make a difference. Again, you're going to label, and that's going to be these points here and here. A and B are the same, so although it looks like it could be either one, it actually is going to be the A value. And then the other one's going to be A plus B, comma 0 in this case, because it's positive. This will also be A pi over 2. A negative pi over 2. Now, you can still do A plus B, but then you're going to want to label the radian measure, or your theta value, as pi. So you're still adding together A and B to get that longer distance. It's going to be true for the last two as well. So it's really just the placement on the axes that's denoted by your radian measure or your theta measure that's going to change. So this will be A0, A pi. Same thing here. When you're looking at the vertical or the sine graph. And then if it's positive, the A plus B will be at pi over 2. And if it's negative, the A plus B will be at negative pi over 2. Or 3 pi over 2, whatever you're more comfortable with. So this could be 3 pi over 2. I like to just use the positive negative values, but that's up to you. So now for graphing purposes, again, you can kind of memorize this information, but I think graphing it is going to really be what will help you determine those values. Alright, so we have here a negative cosine graph. So this is going to be horizontal. What that means is on what we normally think of as our y-axis, we're going to go up 3 and down 3. That's our A value. 1, 2, 3. Put a point. 1, 2, 3. Point there. And then if we add those together, it's negative. So you want to just be careful. When you do the 3 plus 3, you're going to put it on the negative side. So I'm going to go 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is all the way at the end here. That's going to go on the negative side, and then we'll throw in a 0, 0 point, and then connect them. So I actually tend to do this first. Now, you can label them right on the graph. Sometimes I find that's difficult with these, so I'm going to label them off to the side. You have 0, 0. B is your 3 pi over 2. C is the 6 pi, and D is the 3 negative pi over 2. Now you could also do negative 3 and pi over 2 if you wanted to. And remember, there's different ways to label these points. You just have to put one of them and get the graph on there correct. So that was a horizontal negative cosine graph. Let's take a look at a sine cardioid. Okay, so the sine cardioid, we have 2 plus 2. We're going to put a point at 0, 0. We're going to put a point at 2 on the x, and then 2 on the other side on the x. And then we're also going to do one at 4. Now this is positive, so we're going to put it on the positive y-axis. And then connect them. And you can label these on or off the graph. Oops. Now for D, you could put -2, 0, or you could put 2 pi. Again, whatever you're comfortable with in terms of your labeling. I'm going to put the or -2, 0 in case that's the way you want to go with it. So again, same thing as before. I would graph it first. Think about if you're using a sine or cosine graph, if it's going to be vertical or horizontal, and then the fact that it's positive, you want to go to the positive side of your x or y axis, depending on which graph you're looking at. And that is the cardioid.